Okay, so I am back. Fair warning, I have not tried to start this game at all yet, so I don't even know if it's going to work. Oh, hey, it launched right into full screen. That's not good. Oh, good lord. Okay, apparently it's really loud, too. We are going to play another viewer requested game here. It's got a very loud soundtrack. The game is What Remains of Edith Finch. I have no clue what this is. Apparently it's some kind of walking simulator. And it's got very strong focus on story, and something happens. I don't know what. This was recommended to us by Mr. Drunk Scoob, who also his third game. Jesus Christ, he's got you beat, Akuma. He's got 3 games in here. He bribed me with subs, so I guess that was how he got the third one in. But yeah, he did. He wanted me to play The Quarry, Clock Tower 3, and this game. So we're gonna check it out. Apparently, this is fairly short, so we'll just do this to cap off the stream for tonight. And I don't know. Hopefully, I beat it. Oh, I clicked on the game and didn't mean to. Edith Finch. I'm gonna knock this. This is a super loud game. I'm gonna knock it all the way down to 25% volume. Let's see if that works. And God, I hope this uses a controller, because I do not want to use mouse and keyboard right now. Apparently it doesn't. Okay. Well,
a lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that.
Why are you so quiet?
I'm going to start at the beginning with the house.
God, I hope there's no more organ. Hold up. Controller now? No? Okay, god damn it. Can I switch it over? Son of a bitch, this is a PC game that came out within the last 5 years, I think, and I can't use a video game controller with it. No gamepad option. You disappoint me. Alright. That's fine, we'll make do. We'll have to put up with the loud keyboard clacking, but we did that with Pathologic 2, so whatever. Whatever. Oh, I should grab my mouse pad. That would make things much more tolerable for me as well. Okay. Now begins the walking simulator. Here we go. Everybody ready?
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
That? Is that the Weasleys' place? Their giant shack? Orca's Island Gazette.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Wow. With the kind of setup that they got, you wouldn't think that they'd have bills.
My brother Lewis's funeral.
Now, it doesn't exactly seem like it from the start.
No, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
But we're doing this for October because we're playing spooky games.
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Doesn't give me vibes of a horror game, but I guess we shall see. I guess, I don't know, Scoop was mentioning it beforehand. He said it had like some elements of psychological horror, so that must be it.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
From horseback riders or just from wild deer? Because you can't count that. It's wild deer. What the hell? I want to go that way too. I don't think the shift option, the shift button actually... Shift just zooms in. It doesn't help me move faster.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
Well, who would want to? I mean, really. I'm gonna knock the music down, like, all the way down. We'll knock the sound effects. And
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Gonna leave the voice where it is. I will, hold on. I might knock the volume up just a little bit more. She's so, like, she's not exactly mousy, but boy, she's a whisper talker. The house was exactly the way I left it 9 years ago. You have to, you know, speak up. Can't hear you. What if I don't want to go that way to the house? What if I want to go this way to the forest and live amongst the
woods
deer?
around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
What are they about to say? Explain yourself. I hear frogs. I love me a good frog every now and again. The illusion of moving forward faster. Zoom in. I remember there was like a post on Twitter a number of years back where there was a game dev. And they're like, all right, I got something to confess. I worked on a game where the sprint button, we couldn't actually make it so you moved it faster, so we just put speed lines around the character and put a different animation so you thought you were moving faster, but you weren't actually. It's like, well, I guess that's one way to do it. I think somebody replied and posted footage and they're like, oh my god, I never knew. Been playing this game for 10 years. Thought I was moving fast this whole time. Well, that's boring. I didn't see any frogs. You can't give me one frog? Oh, okay, I guess I can't move down that way either. One frog, that's all I'm asking for. I hear it like it's around here somewhere. Damn it. I think the frog is bait. It's only the sound of a frog, but not the actual frog itself. Hey! A wheelbarrow! A little nicer looking than Nom. But hopefully there are no sneaky, what do they call them? They're the little pits. No pit dwellers. B-ball!
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Looking like shit. Comes that musical swell. Missing. Oh, come on. Plenty of frog noises, but you can't give me a frog? There's like a dragon or something. What is that? Crushed can. Nothing else. Alright. I guess if there's not going to be any frogs.
The house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
No, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. Had I been the developer for this game, I would have made sure that there was at least one.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Is this like that Monster House movie? think the only thing I know from that, well, one, it's like super ugly. But two, like the meme with the guy that grabs something out of the kid's hand and eats it. I see that a lot. Seems to have a lot of contextual purpose. Ah, wind chimes. Man, I need some mouse smoothing or something like that. Hold up. We got that? No? Shit, man, this game doesn't have jack shit. I'm gonna turn down the DPI. Oh, I used to do this all the time. At my grandparents' house, they had a doggy door big enough where I could... If I get my chest through, because I got a wide chest, but if I get my chest through, I can get everything else in. Or just the shoulders, I guess. I've got broad shoulders. Oh. I wanted to read the labels. I need some high-quality textures up in here. Gary's potting mix. Explain.
For the first time in years,
Go on.
I felt like I was home.
Aren't you?
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Edith. Guess that's you. Eddie. Edie, maybe? Edith, Edie, Lewis, and Don.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
A hand. Yeah, a clothed hand.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Ah, the cannery. We saw that in Indica. That was the coolest cannery I'd ever seen. The cans were also like 50 times bigger than a normal one, too.
Too much of it. Like a smile with too many teeth.
That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to open the box.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Great-grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara.
Sven.
Along with the rest of the house.
Okay. Oh, shit. Rhinoceros beetle. Oh, I guess they're collectors of bugs. Ew. Wait, is that a crab? It's not a bug. It's not a bug at all. It's a crustacean. I was going to say, how the hell would you get up there? But I guess the rail implies that there would have been a ladder. Yeah, like that one. But there isn't. Somebody took it. Shit. Thieves came in. They didn't steal any of the books or the electronics. They stole the ladder.
Edie told me the bricks came from the original house after it sank.
There those words go.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Okay. Oh. Squeeze through, thank you.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
It is Edie. Oh, the garage. And nobody cleaned up after themselves. What the hell happened? They just left it all. More cans. Oh, I love these things. What? You're not going to get on it? Maybe the electricity's out.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Is that, like, not literally, right? He's trying to back out. I guess it's not what you do. Oh, there it goes. The Aleph.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Milton Finch. Look at his little Burger King crown. Getting ready to say big things.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Oh, yeah, that's weird. This place is weird. This place is weird.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
It's gonna be a big house. Gotta get through. Oh, look, there's literal finches.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
How many Ediths were there? There's a Sven.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Yeah, no. Doesn't usually happen.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
The hell does that mean? He was literally dead in there? I'm thinking these people ain't normal.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
My friend Bigfoot.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Maybe she grew out of America. Is that... I've been wondering the dates, like how old they were. Because they didn't live very long.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Nice house. It's a pretty nice house.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Odin, you say? Sounds like a powerful man.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. A movie I used to love, but a book I've never read.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now,
I was assuming things are just going to be automated.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
What makes you say that? Oh. I guess this is a tight space.
But I had no idea what was behind that door.
What's to prevent anyone from just, like, breaking into this place?
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
I wonder how much this house would be in today's economy. I have no clue. I also wonder how much you'd have to bribe city officials to build something like this.
I grew up looking at Molly's
It does seem
room
like a
through the
fantastical,
peephole.
like, whimsical child's idea of building a house.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
I want to look at the ugly child. Stop making me look at the words. What's the date on that? 1947. Wow, I can't believe they still had calendars back then. There's some rat shit or something in there. Gross. I don't know, open it up.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Oh. The MC Escher house, I wish. Something like that actually existed.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
I like this multiple ass plush. Oh, it's a jellyfish? Oh, my bad. What's their obsession with bugs? Oh, hey, finally a frog. I can't crouch though, so I can't get a good look at it, but a frog render does exist in this game. Huh. I can't walk through here? There's no way, I just gotta like... There's like multiple doors and I can't step into any of them. Chair maybe? No? Ah, there we go. Molly Finch. No, open it up. I never know which way she's gonna, like...
December
when she's gonna actually do
15th,
something.
1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Oh, now I'm playing.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
To be honest, you wouldn't be surprised if copper was removed from the house. But they left everything else. All that copper wiring, though, that's where the real money is. Really. This is What's Eating Edith Finch or something. I forget the full name. What is it? Whatever Happened to Edith Finch? What Remains of Edith Finch? There we go.
The gerbil was dry, but I didn't mind it.
This isn't Trapped. That's gross. Oh, they can't do that.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
He wouldn't live long anyway. You can't put goldfish in a bowl. They produce way too much ammonia in their shit. When they take a dump, they're basically just poisoning themselves. You need to have filtered water through there. If you just leave them in a bowl, stagnant, they'll live maybe a week max.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Nice. Is that mistletoe? Isn't that poisonous?
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
Eat that too.
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Wow.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Oh, I totally had it there. You trick me?
I jumped and I almost got her.
Hi. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It was like, did she fall out? Did she die and somehow write the journal after? As a ghost?
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I
Wow.
heard was
What happened to the bird that you ate, though? Is it still
then
inside
I
of
heard
you?
little teeth nibbling in the grass.
I don't hear shit.
Rabbits.
Ah. Didn't get you. Oh, that rabbit would be shrieking like something else.
His face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't
I don't know that owls can eat them whole, but I don't. Maybe.
Then I flew off to
All right.
find something.
I guess we got to move on.
A mama rabbit.
Oh. Surprised I could actually miss.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Okay. Yep. That's what would normally happen when you lose a shark in the forest. It's like a game of Katamari now. Maybe you should think about being something different.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now,
Okay.
I was hungrier than ever.
I didn't know this was going to be the Vor game. Can I go down? There we go. Nope. Nope.
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Fat, juicy ass.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Nice. This is just Florida.
I grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Oh. I am an octopar now.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Oh, I thought that was a person kneeling. Our first catch of the day,
I was
but not really.
big, but I moved real quiet.
What do you mean I can't get the guy? There we go. My body lies over the ocean.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
his pitch is wrong. What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? Eat him in the morning. We should eat that radio too. Nope. There we go.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new.
Need some green sleeves.
Something I had to have.
I think he was wearing
So I
them.
swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Sewage. Ah, literally. This is just fever
I
dreams
got
about
closer
having
and closer.
vicious diarrhea. What do I think so far? Well, I haven't expected anything that's happened so far. Not a whole lot in terms of gameplay, but I suppose it's fascinating. I mean, I've played many a game similar to this. You know, maybe not in context or story or pacing or anything like that, but, you know, kind of more of a artistic vision where the gameplay and such is sort of
All of my
secondary.
stomach started growling.
How many you got? Goddamn.
And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Cool. Delicious. Well, that's Molly for you. Little freak.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Yeah. Got an imagination, alright. Now I will turn into a cat.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the
one of these
Finches have been
viewfinders.
famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
Rip. Yeah, a little bit. Several people seem to have died from something. I don't know if it was a monster or what. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Oh, we're in Norway.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Ingeborg.
On January 7th,
Guess that's a Finnish name if I've ever heard
1937,
one.
he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington
Oh,
send the
that's what they
house
meant
and
by
Odin
sank.
to the bottom of the sea.
I was wondering if there was like a mudslide or something. No,
Odin's daughter
it was on the
with
water.
husband Sven and baby Molly step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
What do they
Odin
got
Finch
there?
was the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Oh. Nope. I always try to press escape to leave the things, and that's not how you do it. You gotta press back.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
What do you think is wrong with him? God damn it, just close the thing. Sven and Edie.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
Let me see them gloves. They were looking pretty fancy. There's a shark. Norwegian folktales.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Your mom's kind of seems like a wet blanket, so. Oh, this room, the bathroom. Ugh.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Germ heaven. Ugh.
It was a pretty big trace.
Ugh. Yeah, it reminds me of my grandmother's bathroom. When my grandma was alive, she always had the whole floor wasn't coated in it. Growing up, I had a house with a carpeted bathroom, which these days I think about it and it just seems like gross and weird to me. But yeah, she always had like that thing. And not only that thing, there was like one, I don't know if there's one here, but like that material was on the actual seat. It was so gross when I thought about it. I'm like, oh, it's disgusting. I don't know if she ever cleaned it either. I don't think she did. But just like all this carpeting and shit, it's so nasty. There's a secret in the bathroom. And it might give you pink eye.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Wow.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
This is an interesting post I saw. Is that the old camera? I don't know what that is. Interesting post I saw a while back is somebody that had a refurbished camera from like the late 1800s. And they used it at a modern sporting event. Took some pictures with it. Very fascinating. I like the usage of old tech with modern applications. Old Fort Calvin. Boy, look at that.
I knew
Every
Grandpa Sam had a
child's
twin.
dream bedroom. Kinda, it's half a bedroom, but they got like this little fort shit. It's pretty neat. Oh, he doesn't have a bridge though. What the hell? Guess they forgot to set it up.
And that he never talked about him.
Seems he liked space. Well, this guy, I don't know, he liked the army, I guess. Enlist.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Broken foot.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
That's the way it
At
should be.
Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
Actually, I love
I think
mushrooms.
Calvin
I just made
always
myself a
wanted to
mushroom
fly.
Swiss burger twice this week. Actually, the second time around, I didn't use Swiss because I didn't have any, but I did have provolone.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible.
Oh, I've done that before. I think I've talked about it too.
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
On the playground.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up.
Yeah, as kids, we used to do a bunch of stupid shit on the swings. We'd swing really high and try to jump over it, but we'd also try to see if we could do a 360. I've done it before. It's a scary feeling. Because there's a point where you, like, reach the top, and you don't think about it as a kid. You think you just go, like, around in a circle, but once you reach the top, you just fall straight down.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Surprisingly, I did not hit my head on the come down. I just fell back down. And it was a big jolt. It didn't feel very nice, but it was done.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact
I know, why
same
so close to
thing.
the gate? That's just like begging for somebody to jump off the thing. They're like, I'm going to put this swing here. It's going to be right next to a cliff. I know it's really tempting to jump off and go right into the water, but don't do it. Just saying. And he flew that day. And he just kept flying, and he never came back down.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
What do we do about this? How do I get over there? I guess I don't. No. This looks like one of those rooms that's designed by like one of those, that meme channel with the galvanized steel. Seems like a very similar concept with this. Ah. Why yes, dual butt plugs, or blunt pugs. I guess it's a handle. Did his brother do that page? Yeah, I think so. I think that was the idea.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
It's a good thing you're not fat. Otherwise, we'd have a problem.
I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Barbara Finch. Seattle Ballet Company presents Swan Lake. Well, I don't know. What do you think? There's a little bulge, I guess. She could be pregnant. I almost feel like there's a little jiggle physics going on when I look down. Yeah, the stomach protrudes beyond the breasts, so to me, I guess, I don't know, she could be fat, I guess. The rest of her seems, her arm looks skinny. She could be pregnant, though.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her.
Maybe that's the
afterwards.
curse. She's gonna have another Finch, and the world isn't ready for that. Barb Street. Dreadful stories.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
The surprise ending of Barbara Finch.
With another ghastly tale.
He's doing his own voice.
By America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Fine quality. Oh, no, I wanted to see the patches.
Child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now it's
Can't tell if fat or pregnant. Yeah, that's not something you want to say out loud in front of a person.
Lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to...
Oh, it's Rick. He's back.
When...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
Thanks, babe.
20 minutes later...
How did the writer of this comic know that?
...hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
It even has a little hand depicted there. Oh, wait, that's me. I gotta do that.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Hey, how'd you get the rights to this music? Now I'm gonna get
She found
content
Rick's
claimed.
scratch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
But why did he do it, Doc? Give those bottles a nice smack. Isn't that? Oh man, I can't see shit. Oh wait, why did I have to go around to get up? Doesn't make any sense. I kind of don't like how my view is restricted to this very tiny letterbox. And on top of that, there's like words. I guess it's the door we came in through initially, so. But, oh, okay, there's more to it. I was like, I thought that we needed to go back out, because there wasn't anything else. But I guess there's this.
Still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
She just said,
Then
oh dear.
act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah!
Nice job
Okay,
babysitting.
I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Goddamn clock. Goddamn TV. Can't shut them off. No. I guess the layout of the house is probably the same. Stop throwing shit. Nice costume.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Just like Silent Hill.
Police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Steel hook for it. It's like that SpongeBob episode.
Saw the hook man and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
That'll learn him.
He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
Through here?
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
I knew that roller skate would come into play.
But she sensed the story might not.
Alright, finishing blow.
Yet.
Jump over the railing. Damn it. You gotta do it with that downward thrust like Link or Scrooge McDuck. Just kind of pogo stick on him.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Ding dong. Sounds like a doorbell to me.
At the door, she heard whispering. It's coming from inside the house.
Surprise! It's your birthday. Yeah, I knew it.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent.
I was like,
Poor girl.
is it an orgy, is it?
She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
What was that that laugh?
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Yeah, I guess. Is that a pizza pie? Is that mold? It should be. I mean, it could have been. We don't know for certain.
I I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Well, fuck her, because we're gonna play with it. I forget where it is exactly, though. Downstairs? Other way. You never want to overwind these things. They start freaking out after a while. Oh, saving. Something to be saved here. Pool table, nice.
Mom
There's
said
the
the basement was
saw.
off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Dragon head. More wood, I guess, for canvas.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
That's cool. Can we get like a flashlight? It's like super
I
dark.
thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Oh, she was hiding the bodies. She'd chop them
I
up into
remember
neat little
asking Mom once
packages.
about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Oh, nice little bomb shelter. For some reason, Alvino's, okay, cereal, extra crispy. I'm sure it still is. I fell into this K-hole of watching like top 10 serial killers, and there was one that was kind of gross. It's like some Chinese guy, I think it was in China, or maybe Hong Kong. He had murdered his wife, and he used a meat grinder to like grind her up into bits. I think he cut her up first, and then he used the meat grinder. Started stuffing her down the
If
sink.
there's a pattern in all these stories,
And it's like for a while they couldn't find out what happened to her because they reviewed all the footage and stuff, and they never saw her leaving the apartment
I think
complex.
it's that none of us has gotten very far.
But eventually they checked the sewage, I don't know, ducts, passages right underneath the apartment complex, and they found like this lumpy mass that didn't seem quite right. And then they found human remains.
Goodbye,
And they're like,
everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
he was just grinding her up and shoving her down the sink.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
Oh, nice. You know
But
that there are
after
some
a few
people that don't know
days,
how to use a can
I
opener?
settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I
Canned
always
peaches.
expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Kind of reminds me of that guy in Lost that was in the thing where he had to reset
And
the
then one
counter.
day, everything just stopped.
Had the same routine every day.
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Or the other movie, or I guess Lost isn't a movie, but there's that movie. Was Tom
It's been a
Hanks in
week
it? Hold
now,
on.
The longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
That's not it. That's not it either. What is that movie Oh man, I don't remember if it was Tom Hanks. There was a movie where there was a family where they lived under threat of like nuclear bombs from like the 50s or something like that. And they thought there was a bomb that was going to go off. So they went into a shelter that they had stocked up that was like stocked for like enough for like 30, 40 years. And then they had, I don't remember if the kid was like raised in there. Well, yeah, the kid was raised in there because he was a child. I don't know if he was like bored in the shelter, but he'd only ever known life in the shelter. And then he came back in like the 90s or something like that. And then he had knowledge of everything from the 50s. But he had a whole new world to experience in the 90s. I forget what the hell that movie was. I remember watching it when it came out, but I would have been a child at the time.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake.
It was Edie.
But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
Yeah, you can only eat peaches for so long.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month.
Or a day.
Or a single week.
Or an hour.
I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
That was a train, buddy. I guess he'd been cooped up for so long, he didn't know what a train was. He thought it was the sun.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
It's a big place. The radio's still on.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Oh, look at that. He had a fake little window. That's sad. Go on, get down there.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Yeah, you didn't even know about the uncle over the house.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Let's not get started about the aunt in the rafters. I guess this is his garbage pile. Yeah, a lot of peanut butter.
Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Alright.
Now that there's only one of us left. Or maybe 2. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
(1952 to 2005). Old Walter never missed a train.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
I think she is pregnant. She's writing her for her child to be.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Hold up, this is bugging me. Blast from the Past. Movie came out in 1999. I think I saw my family rented it. Oh, it wasn't Tom Hanks. It was Brendan Fraser. It's got Alicia Silverstone, Christopher Walken, Sissy Spacek. Yeah, that's what it was. I should watch that again. I'm sure it wasn't great, but probably wasn't bad either. Old Blast from the Past.
I think the people in these stories...
Ironically, it's now a Blast from the Past if you bring it up again. I just remember he had all the shit from the 50s or whatever, and it was like all mint, and then the girl that he met when he left the shelter was like, oh my god, you have all this stuff that's worth a lot of money now.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Man, I can't believe we got to start all the way back from the bottom. I don't know what's up there. I also would like a flashlight or something, but that might be asking for too much. Oop. Ah, okay. I see the path now.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
One with a long line.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy, and Derpy Jr. It's also got Lucy. Goddamn, Lucy lived a while, whatever the hell that was. Daisy, Charlie, Tucker, Coco, Burpy, Lurpy, Zerpy, Zoe. Bob, Oliver, Shadow, Christopher, Shotzi, Bailey. Bailey has a big one. There's another frog.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
I'll look through it. Looks like it's meant to be looked through. Ah, there you go. Oh, wait. They all do that? No. "11 years old. Rocket to the moon." Oh, we've seen the 3
sure
dead
Odin's
ones.
monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
No, Odin, what are you doing?
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
I was at the house, still. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If she is in fact pregnant, she's moving around a little bit too much, but... You know, there's that Amnesia game that I didn't play. That Rebirth one. Seems to have a similar concept. There's a pregnant
Edie
woman in
said
that.
she dreamed about the old
She's
house
getting chased by monsters or something. Alright. Can we take that? Just something for a light, please. I guess out here it's not too bad, but once we start getting closer to the house, yeah, it's gonna get dark again. Okay, I think that's it.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Gregory Finch. Makes me think of Gregory Peck.
She lost
Pecking,
two of
which
her
finches
brothers,
do.
just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Sanjay? Where'd you come from?
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
I mean, wasn't it? Maybe they buried Mal, or no? Wait, what's
There's
her
so
name?
many things I wish I could ask my
The
mom
movie
now.
star Barbara, I guess.
Part of me
Babs.
thinks this is what she wanted all along.
Maybe she had the ear was
for
left
me to
over, so
come
they
back
buried that.
someday and find everything out for myself.
All right, well, let's see what happens.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh, she's pregnant. And she brought up your point, Akuma. She's doing it anyway, though. For some reason, she thought this was a good idea.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Oh,
They were both pretty intense.
that looks fake. That looks real. Ah, the manila envelope. Taking a selfie.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's
Just
gonna
the
rain
camera.
the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
Took two of that map. Just in case it didn't turn out. He's wearing digital cameras, you know.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit.
Down a little bit. Your glasses got too much glare.
Smile, Dawn. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
She doesn't look that old. I probably got cameras older
You're
than
right,
her.
Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Seems like it's got a digital zoom, though. Nice picture of the tree line.
Aw.
Where's the body? Also waiting for some kind of spooky to jump out at me.
Hold still.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
Haha, caught you pissing.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Are they afraid of
Don,
like
don't you
rendering
think you
full
could find
faces or
something
something?
more interesting to photograph?
Yeah, I got it right here. These dead fish.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Uh-oh. I hear a foreboding note playing in the background of this music track.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target.
You gotta imagine where the heart is.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Don!
You did it! Yay!
I'm proud of you, Don.
Don't
Always
photobomb,
remember
Dad.
that, okay?
Alright, now you gotta skin it. Oh, here I go.
Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
It's okay, sweetie. Just don't cry too much.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don.
It's okay. Just gotta
focus
plunge
on
the
camera.
knife into its heart.
Try not to think about
Dad!
Oh. And that was the last time
Of
he
all
ever
these
fell off a
stories,
mountain.
That's the one I wish most that my mom had told me. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Nice. How many points do I need to spend to unlock that?
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Oh my god, it's Molly. Okay. It's a name too, that's not me being dismissive. I guess the only thing to interact with was this. Gotta scoot over that. There you go. Ah, the attic.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
What? Oh, Finch control. I was wondering what the hell that said. I see Gregory. Oh, here we go. Guess he didn't live long. What the hell? I like click on the thing. I guess maybe I had to move the mouse up, but I click on it to see if she'll turn the page, but nope. Puts it up.
Okay. Do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
And that kind of doesn't look like the hand of a child. It just looks like the hand of a fat man.
Hold on, sweetie.
Oh, the Lego Man.
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
He saw little rubber ducks in bubbles. And he controlled the frog toys with his mind.
What his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
Backflip towards me. Whoa! Totally sick. Ah, there we go. That's what I wanted.
It sure made him happy.
It'd make me happy if I had psychic powers, telekinetic powers, powers of the mind. Whoa.
I know how silly it sounds.
Soaps to eat.
But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I knew it. I knew it. I was like, it sure would be a shame if he hit the bath handle and drowned himself. I didn't want to say it out loud, though, because I thought that would be... I didn't know if it'd be too dark for this, but I thought it would happen.
About Gregory?
Yeah.
About everything.
And then he became the swamp monster, apparently. Or maybe he is the frog now.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy.
Maybe if he didn't have psychic powers, this all wouldn't have happened.
Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
One-year-old. Reminds me of having those dreams where you're swimming underwater. And, like, I feel like they're dangerous. I hope I don't have them too often, but, like, you know, I'll actually be holding my breath, I think. It feels like I am. And then eventually you just, like, can't hold it any longer. And then you realize, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever realized that it was a dream, but at the very least, in the dream, I realized, oh, I can breathe underwater now.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
And he did. Died, that is. Oh, I see. And I used to love flying a kite, but there's never a good opportunity to do it. I don't really live in a big windy place.
But Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
I had a dragon kite that, for whatever reason, my grandpa got me in like my mid to late teens. And it's like I never really had a place to use it. And it was like, the last time I had flown a kite before that was like when I was
tried to talk him
maybe
out
like
of
10
it,
years
but though he
earlier.
never
It's
met
like when I
me.
was 6
You
or
don't
7
need
or
a
something like that.
stepmom were the words that I remember.
Husband and wife. You may kiss the
But he got me this dragon kite, and it required a decent amount of assembly. And then I just remember on a whim, my friend got his license before me, but I remember on a whim where I was like, "Want to go fly this kite?" So we put it together, and we had it in the backseat of his car. We went to go find a park, and we flew it for a few minutes. I don't know, maybe like an hour or something like that. We were just kind of running around with it. I don't even know if we could find a decent like place to catch some wind, but it was fun. Oh, here's some words.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Yeah. Don't bow down to the man, man.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
And then lightning struck and it got fried. And the lesson at the end of the day was you probably should come here when your parents tell you to.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Or any of the furniture, it seems.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Wow.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Fried. Extra burnt. That last part didn't rhyme.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Flying a kite. Wait. I don't know. There's holes in it, but I don't know if it's charred. I am assuming he got struck by lightning, but they weren't terribly explicit, I think.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
What? Dawn? Oh, that's a cross. Okay. I thought it was I thought it was a lowercase t. I was like, Daunt?
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she
Oh,
met my
that's
dad.
Sanjay. Look at that. 10 ways to teach critical thinking.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
Speaking of horrible fates.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
We got Basil and sage. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Mint, thyme.
I see kids in the house again.
And this is just a whole lot of dawn.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Well, not living here.
But it didn't last.
Okay, hold on. I want to look at the thing. Scientific method. 1. Observation. 2. Question. 3. Research. 4. Hypothesize. 5. Experiment. 6. Data. 7. Conclusion. Relief efforts end in disaster. Still lighting one up for him.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Yeah, I don't trust kids in like high places like this. Doesn't seem like a good idea. You know, tempting fate and all that.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Is she actually climbing that? What the hell happened to you?
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Ah, one of these. Achoo. Man, this thing should be a lot thicker than that if it's going on for this long. The end. Wait, I don't get it. He went through a door. Why does he look like Doug? Anything else? Guess not.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
And the book just had him paint a door and he bowed out. Here it is. Farewell. I guess it wasn't terribly explicit. He just wanted to leave. Maybe he got a disguise, lived a new life. Apparently he was into 3D modeling as well. I was wondering if the paintings had any clues on what he might have done, but I do not think so. Seems like it's just drawings of places around the property.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Oh. Well, damn it.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Up and over.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Yeah, I'll bet. Got the hookah pipe. Got legalized marijuana, man, bro. Got his game station, his Wonderland Turbo.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Oh, yeah. Listen to that. I forget what that instrument is called.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Fish go in, fish go out. Fish go in,
He kept working at
fish
the
go
cannery.
out.
But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
Yeah, I'll grab that. What is that? Began to what?
wander.
Ah. Oh.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small.
Imagining video
a
games.
labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats.
Oh, I hate bats.
And toads.
Bats in video games are the worst. Maybe third worst common enemy. Trying to think what the others would be. Because dogs would be number one for me. I hate dealing with dogs in video games, but I keep thinking like Medusa heads in Castlevania, but that's like one particular game. It's not a super common enemy type.
He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
Whoa, we're going isometric, bros.
Daydreaming at the cannery.
I'm like kind of cautious about not cutting his hand
I
off.
spoke with his boss. But he said Louis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Louis.
Brand new Louis.
So I let him go on. I even encouraged him.
Keep playing video games in your head.
He told me he'd made a new friend.
I call him George.
On the edge of a city he named Louis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Guess I can't go in there.
And songs for them to play.
Hail to Lewis,
He
the
talked
ruler
about
of
starting a
Lewistopia.
band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him
What, the blade?
that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
I could even cut my own hand off.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Just like Super Mario.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering.
But what was the voting system like?
It became a game for him.
What were his taxation laws like?
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Oh my God, we're gonna crash.
St. Louis.
Hey, that one's already taken.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Just having
Even
too
as
much
his
fun
mother
chopping
pleaded with
heads
him,
and thinking about
Part
video
of
games.
Lewis kept sailing on.
Hey, careful. Step too close to that conveyor belt, you might end up on it. And you might be in a can.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Handsome queen or a beautiful prince? She's a handsome woman, Bones.
handsome queen.
Hardly 25.
The queen was on her own quest for
Sinister serpents or radiant rainbows.
sinister serpents.
Oh God, there they are. They're quite sinister looking. It's okay, I can slay them.
He followed the sound of her
Electric sitar. Hey, the sitar was the thing I was thinking of earlier. Right?
electric sitar.
Pew, 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 pew.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
Sounds like a hard place to get to.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
Ah, we've entered the AR experience.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
It'd be a lot harder chopping heads when I can't see the
But he
blade.
was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
I've become a god.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
He's successful at chopping heads
And then it
off.
struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Ah, it's the Batman complex. Let it go. Guess the head wasn't chopped good enough.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
His imagination's breaking through because the fish is now going through his fingers. Ah, one of those.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Give me that head. Put it through the blade. Like a guillotine, almost.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Did he literally say it like that?
The palace would be packed with his companions.
At that point, you might need to put him in the rubber room.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
That was Molly. She's back.
His queen waited, holding his crown.
Oh yeah, it is a guillotine. Look at that. I'm too pessimistic for this game. I've called everything.
There was only one thing left to do.
He needed to place his head underneath the blade. No, it's just a crown fitting
Then
hole.
down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Who we got left? Sanjay? Nah, we don't care about Sanjay. He's a leaf. He's not on the tree. I guess Edie is the only one left. Stop calling it, no. My pessimism has given me a foresight to all the events when I see them lead themselves up to things.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
I swear to God, if this game ends, it's probably not going to happen, but if this game ends with her, like, jumping off. She's pregnant. I don't think they do that, but they might.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
The very first walking simulator type game I ever played was Dear Esther, which almost kind of has a similar name to this game. But I think, I don't remember exactly. Apparently, like, the story changes every time you play it. Well, it has a couple different variations at the very least. It's a very old game, and an indie game at that, but it's like the bits and pieces of the story don't exactly add up in any sort of chronological fashion. So it's really kind of hard to follow. By the end of it, I'm pretty sure the main character, spoiler, jumps off a cliff and kills himself, but...
Maybe it should have come sooner.
That was an unusual game. It's kind of fun to walk around and see some sort of weird
But it had to end
stuff,
one
though.
way or another. All that's left now was to tell you about that last night.
Never played it again, though.
last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Nice. I wonder what I got. Probably more
the power had been shut off
knitted
that morning,
gloves.
but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Oh, history.
There's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
It was a dark and stormy night.
The tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground.
It's usually not a good sign when the tide goes out that far.
In the middle of the ocean.
Tsunami incoming?
The lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
Apparently upside down, too.
I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Gate's still intact.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. And I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again.
Why?
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
She disappeared into
After
the
that,
house.
We moved around a lot.
It's like the Winchester Mansion. Nice.
We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by.
Just got
My mom
turning
didn't
it.
like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
Not for long, apparently. She had to get pregnant somehow.
Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
Oh, Lord.
This journal was supposed to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself.
The miracle of childbirth.
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Goodbye. This game come out in 2017? Or did that date predate the game's release? A story by Giant Sparrow for Shirley Dallas. Well, I'm sure she was an amazing person. Ian Dallas, creative director. Some of the photos looked like they were real. I was like, I wonder if they used them, but I guess these are just like staff photos that they pulled out. Probably not going to be any post-credit stuff, so I'll probably talk over it. I was wondering if there was going to be anything else, but maybe not. It's kind of fun, though, seeing all the staff photos. I'm guessing of when they were young, and these are not AI made. I think this game came out before all that, so if it was AI, it probably wouldn't have been that convincing. Well, the family curse lives on, I suppose, so we'll just have to hope that this new Finch is, I don't know, got his head on straight. I guess they didn't really disclose what happened to Edith. Unless, I don't know, maybe she died in childbirth or something like that. Who knows? But family curses, big afflictions, things like that, whether it's like suicide or what. Seems like a few of them, you know, had dealt with some kind of depression or something like that. Almost kind of reminds me of the Von Erichs, which is a long dynasty of professional wrestlers. And there was a moment from like the 80s into the 90s where just like a lot of them were dying over and over again. In fact, there's a movie that came out, I think it was A24 maybe produced it, called The Iron Claw. It was okay. You know, I bet you people would like it a lot more than maybe someone like me that is a little bit more familiar with the events as they happened, because there's a number of things where they took creative liberties to kind of like, I don't know, piece together a story that maybe was a little bit more interesting than real life, but still, it was a pretty good movie though. But yeah, that's also a similar thing where it's dealing with a family curse, and you know, there's a lot of depression in the family, and you know, there's a lot of accidental deaths and some not so much, and you know, living with the weight of all the events that transpire. So sort of an interesting concept, I suppose, to go through with a story. But I don't know, they all kind of disclosed it here in an interesting way with the journal entries and everything. The person is named Genova Chen. I wonder if her parents had played Final Fantasy VII. It's the only way we would get the name like that. But some of them are left kind of vague. I mean, you know, you're not necessarily given a clear picture with all of them what they ended up doing to meet their ultimate demise. Let me see. The replay a story option is now available. Select Edith to play from the beginning. Oh, okay. I guess you could replay all of their specific occurrences. What the hell was done? Now I forget. Yes?
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word.
Oh.
Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
Okay.
To our final
I remember now.
And all our final nights.
I guess I didn't know that the mom's name was Dawn.
You know what I...
So that was that's on me. I guess that's it. Everybody's been covered. I doubt that there's any... I don't know. Little extra bits. So what the hell? I mean, it's like, yeah, some of them you just like kind of wonder. Like Calvin, okay, he jumped off the cliff, sure. Sam got kicked off by the buck. I guess Dawn was the girl. Gus, I'm thinking he got fried by lightning. Gregory drowned. Walter got hit by a train after living in the basement for years. Edie was undisclosed. She disappeared into the house. She could be anywhere. She could still be in there. We don't know. Barbara, I guess, was murdered. I don't know what the hell that was. They found her ear. It's like you have to go based on the comic book, but like the comic book doesn't exactly disclose it to you. But I would assume, I guess, that the ear thing was real, so maybe, I don't know, she was murdered and a killer left it as like a calling card or something like that. Edith, we didn't have an end date, but I guess we know she died. Well, yeah, 2017, I suppose. Was that it? Milton disappeared. He turned into Doug, the Disney cartoon, and I guess he ventured into that world. Lewis cut off his own head. I was wondering what the hell happened to Molly. She was like, you know. Oh, you know what, though? There was that mistletoe. Hold on. What the hell does mistletoe do? What happens? The first thing I type in is like, what happened to Tom Hanks? Did something happen to Tom Hanks? What happens when you eat mistletoe berries? All parts of American mistletoe contain a toxin protein called phototoxin. Most times someone ingests a small amount of American mistletoe, they won't have any symptoms. Those that do have mistletoe poisoning symptoms usually have gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea and vomiting. Can mistletoe kill you? Is mistletoe poisonous? Mistletoe is poisonous, although it is doubtful as to whether it will actually cause death. All parts of a plant are toxic. Berries and leaves, the toxin. Death from mistletoe poisoning is rare, but it can happen. Outcome depends on how much mistletoe is consumed and how quickly medical care is received. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Symptoms include blurred vision, fever, hallucinations, diarrhea, nausea, which I also mentioned, stomach pain, vomiting, drowsiness, and slowed heart rate. Symptoms usually last 1 to 3 days and may require a hospital stay. Yeah, she did eat that mistletoe berry, and I was like, when she first did it, I'm like, isn't that poisonous? It is. But that probably led to the hallucinations. I guess if she was young enough, which it looks like she was 10, 1937 to 47. I don't know. She either had the well, no, she woke up in her bed. I was like, she either had the hallucinations, and while she was pretending she was a cat, she just like jumped out the window and died, or, I don't know. I guess she got poisoned or something. She was like afraid of a monster or something like that, but that could also be leading into the hallucination part. So that one was weird. Everyone else, I guess, mostly clear cut, except for Milton disappearing, and I guess that's it. All right. Well, kind of a horror game. I guess it was more depression horror than anything. It is kind of, I don't know, existential, psychological in some ways. So it was a weird one. It was a very weird game, but I don't regret playing it. I thought it was relatively interesting the way that the story was laid out. But yeah, one of these walking simulator type games is not always something that I play or seek out, but it was interesting. So I will give it that. I enjoyed it for the most part, but yeah, it's gonna be it. But I think we're gonna end the stream here. It was relatively long. We had a good chunk of time in with Trapped, a very fun game. Also, I'm not sure if that would classify as horror, but you know, it's kind of close. And then, of course, our What Remains of Edith Finch. So good stuff. We will come back tomorrow. I'm hopefully going to finish up Trapped. That's what my main focus. And then, God, I hope I could beat it in a few hours. If I can, I'm going to put in a couple hours into Resident Evil 3. We'll boot that up. And hopefully by the next day after that, we can knock out Resident Evil 3 and maybe do a little unsorted VHS, which I paid $2 whole for. So I have to make sure I actually play it. But good stuff so far. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Sort of a slower Monday, but that's all right. Let's see what's going on here. Who do we got? We got few people up right now. I got Oxcat doing a little Earthbound run from the looks of it. I think we will go ahead and do a raid there. What is going on? Oh my God. Oxcat got the camera on, and she is wearing something. I was at like 160p resolution, so it was really blurry. I'm like, face looks a little different. Yeah, I think she's wearing a mask, but it's actually quite frightening. So brace yourself, because it might be a little scary. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be it for tonight. Let's go see what kind of run Oxcat is doing with Earthbound. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. So until then, you guys take care. Have a good night. See you next time.